Hello everyone, welcome to Hook, Line and Sinker. Today and for the foreseeable future, Andrew, coming to you from a place we call Australia.
That's right, Nick. This is the iconic capital city of Melbourne, and what we've got in store is the adventure of a lifetime. This is Hook, Line and Sinker, the lap. Hey, guys, you're on!
That's a better cod.
That's a better cod on the swim, mate.
That's a big fish.
Yeah! This is what it's all about, having a bar crusher like this driving around the country.
Look at that. Funny green piece we're here.
Big
Clip up. If you fall in the water, you do that sort of thing. Look at that.
Oh, look at the size of it! Oh, look at the size of it! Now we should explain exactly what Hook, Line and Sinker, the lap, is all about, Nick.
Andrew, it's not that difficult a concept to get your head around.
Okay.
It's essentially you and I here in the D-Max towing our great big bar crusher in an anti-clockwise direction all the way around Australia.
Correct. We're going to join the thousands of grey nomads who do this every year. It can't be that hard, although I did look at a map and it's something like 20-something thousand kilometres of just sort of this.
Yes, you and I are sitting in a car together. So, if you like the sound of that, enjoy Hook, Line and Sinker, the lap. Starting our lap in Melbourne, we plan on heading around the country in an anti-clockwise direction. North, up the east coast, all the way to the tip of Cape York, then across the top, down the Western Australian coast, and finally back along the bottom to Victoria, and finishing in our home state of Tasmania.
As well as all the adventures from our road trip, we will search for a couple of doer-uppers as we tackle a pair of project boats on a budget, plus plenty more of the adventures that we all love.
So for the rest of the day, for next week, for the week after, for probably the next couple of years, Dykes.
Yes, enjoy Hook, Line and Sinker, the lap. We think there'll probably be quite a bit of this.
There's a lot of this.
But there will also be, we think, a heap of awesome angling opportunities.
It's going to be epic.
Now, what better way to begin this epic trip by visiting our first Isuzu destination of the week, and what a cracker to kick things off. It is the bustling metropolis of Hastings, found right on the doorstep of Western Port Bay, just a short drive down the road from Melbourne. As always, this destination of the week is brought to you by the almighty Isuzu D-Max, powered by a 3-litre turbo diesel engine. It's got the grunt to tow our 780 bar crusher, with 3.5-tonne towing across the 4x4 range. Coupled with the amazing fuel economy and comfortable leather interior, it's going to make our lap of Australia a breeze. Isuzu D-Max. Go your own way. Okay, so a lap of Australia, Andrew, needs to start somewhere.
Yep.
And we have chosen this body of water, which is in fact Western Port Bay, one of Victoria's, certainly Melbourne's, premier fishing locations.
You've got Port Phillip Bay, you've got Western Port Bay, the two big bays. You've got whiting, snapper, calamari, gummy shark. They're the sort of big ticket items that if you live in Melbourne, which is where we're starting our lap, you come in your target.
Now, as we make our way around the country, we have assembled a group of gurus, because we're obviously not going to know these fisheries intimately.
Sometimes we'll have to fish by ourselves, but when we can help it, we will get local knowledge. You know, we'll go to the local tackle shop, or we'll find the local young gun or the local guide.
Yes. What we have done today, though, is find one of not only Victoria's, but one of Australia's most respected anglers.
This guy can fish, like, much better than us.
What we can't do, though, is show you who he is, because, as we say,
he looks like he's going to the gallows.
A little bit, and potentially on this program he is. He's going to fishing's version of the gallows, but he knows what he's doing. Pay attention if you'd like to catch your whiting here in Western Port. This is your man.
It's like a dentist. We cannot show you his face.
Okay, get back to it, though.
Come on. Yeah, bombs away. That will bring every whiting, every gummy shark and every snapper in Western Port Bay to us, Nick. Yes!
Yes!
shower. Do you want it?
Yes, no, I don't want it.
I don't
You want it in. This is, of course, Bagman. It is, of course, Lee Rayner. Lee, it's a privilege to have you on our show.
It's a privilege to actually be here.
Welcome to Hook, Line and Sinker. You are one of this country's most respected, one of this country's best fishermen, Lee.
Settled.
You're a gun angler, mate.
That's not what my wife says.
And around these parts in particular,
Yeah.
there is no one better. That's why we've got
There's
you.
plenty of people better.
Very nervously.
I am.
Very nervous about the whole thing about having you on the boat.
I'm a massive fan, Don.
I know you've been pacing. He's been showing me his tackle lead.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure what that is.
And his fishing gear as well.
He's saying, what do you think Lee's going to think about this? Nick, will he be impressed with all my things that I've got? Probably not, Andrew, no.
It's lovely to be here, boys, and great to be part of the start of your journey.
What have you got?
Oh, now.
Yeah,
Look,
we've got a
the
little
bonus
snapper.
is things can only go up from here.
That's all right. No, that's fine. Western Port Bay.
Yep.
I haven't fished it a lot, maybe 4 or 5 times. What I'm seeing this morning is a lot of run.
Lot of tide, big run out tide today.
Yeah.
But that's what makes this place work. Is
Rightio.
obviously your big tide flows and the fish feed at those peak periods. We're fishing some deep water at the moment, trying to find some whiting, but your bycatch is a lot of these pinky snapper.
Little snappers, yeah, rightio.
So it's pretty interesting water because just over there's Port Phillip Bay where there's no tide. So yeah, quite an interesting sort of mix of
Rightio. So don't be scared of the tide dogs. That's what Lee's saying.
Be scared of the mud banks though when you're running around.
Lee quickly whipped us into a frenzy with his inspirational talk. Today's target, big kidney slapper King George whiting, the best eating fish in the sea, and we had all the gear to give ourselves the best chance possible.
Fish on.
Fish on.
Fish on. It's a good fish.
Oh, good.
Yes. And look, we've had a few moves, a few sort of a bit of a look around the bay.
Yep.
And look, I'm saying this is the one we're after.
Are you really?
Well, I
You're
think
calling
so.
it.
It's just fighting nicely.
good.
It's the burley's just kicked in.
Good.
And Lee, we sort of move quite quickly, don't we, if we don't get them?
Yes, and that's, I suppose that's the bonus. There's
yeah,
never
look
a
at
dull
this.
moment. Look, he's done it.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look
That
at
is
that. I just had a good bite then.
Your Melbourne fisherman's bread and butter, isn't it?
Oh, and how could you go wrong? They taste better than awesome.
Better than most things, aren't they?
Oh,
They are in the
that's
top
seriously good.
3 or 4 fish.
I think so. And a lot of people in
To
New
eat.
South Wales, they get those yellowfin whiting, which are amazing.
Yep.
But the King George, I think, is next level. So, well done, mate.
We're on the board.
Yeah, well done. I just had a good bite then.
The
too.
Pressure has been on.
The lap begins. We are on the board. Look at that.
There you go, in the tank for you.
How many of those do I need?
How many can you have in Victoria?
20 per person.
That's a lot. That's
All right.
59.
59.
No, don't make pig of ourselves. No,
Why not?
don't be a pig. But seriously, how many of these can I eat?
You could eat a lot. I reckon you'd be good. I reckon you'd be good for about 10.
Really? I reckon I will be too. Look at that. And it's another whiting, mate. It's
Whiting.
another whiting.
Yeah.
And they do fight well, don't they?
That's
Look
a
at that.
white. That's a better one. There you go.
Look at that.
Whack myself in the head with the sinker.
That's a much better sized whiting.
That's what we're after, mate.
That's awesome.
I don't want to touch it. They're really slimy and messy.
I know, you've got to grab them. Where do you got to grab
You've
them?
got to grab them
behind,
high.
Behind the head.
behind the head, like that.
There you go.
That thing.
Nice work.
Stick around after the break. The lap rolls on as we get stuck in a pub, and later we part with our hard-earned as we purchase our project boats.
Welcome back to Hook, Line and Sinker, where you find us starting our road trip around Australia. Location 1 is Western Port Bay, and we've managed to talk celebrity fisherman and all-round nice guy Lee Rayner into showing us some of his whiting spots.
Into him?
Buddy.
Just putting on a clinic now.
Hey?
You're just putting on a clinic.
Not really,
He's
actually.
just showing us up.
It's,
Yeah, that's a beautiful big
There we
whiting.
go. Look at that.
Look at that. Hey.
Yeah.
And mate, to pass on some tips to anyone watching who wants to come whiting fishing, you have brought all the gear today. You've got a little bit of yucky stuff right here on your chin. That's fine.
Bit of breakfast.
Talk to us firstly about bait.
Bait, we're using 2 baits, pippy and squid.
Yep.
Both work exceptionally well. I do love the squid for big whiting.
And that squid that you've caught yourself?
Yeah, it's just calamari.
Yeah.
It's not it's fresh frozen, and I actually like them when they've been frozen because they soften up beautifully.
And you bring this
Yeah,
meat mallet?
that's just to keep Nick in line.
Yeah, that's right. But I've watched you and you just sort of
Soften it up a bit.
Soften the edge, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So just basic stuff. The other thing, change your bait a lot.
Yeah, right.
Like, and if you get a bite and they won't come back, put a new bait on.
All right. And we saw you put the burley in earlier. That's important.
Oh, it's huge. Just to hold the school. I think just like
Yeah,
any
right,
sort of fishing, you know, you can catch the odd one here and there, but with burley, you'll bring the whole lot.
Okay. We're starting to get a feed now. This is great.
We are.
Fish on, fish on.
Oh, that's how
Fish
I fish
on. Oh.
That's a real one.
Jeepers creepers. This is a huge fish. This is a huge fish, dogs.
Outstanding.
This
God,
can't be a
Is
whiting.
that a whiting?
Surely not. Is it?
Potential world record
Hey?
whiting if it is.
It just sort of hooked itself,
Yeah.
which is what I need in a fish. Which is what
The
I
best
really
kind.
look for in a fish, is one to hook itself. Oh, this is a good fish.
Yeah, it'll be a proper one, mate.
Do you reckon this will be? You seriously think this is a whiting?
Yeah, for sure.
They fight this hard?
When you get the real ones, yeah. And the other one, you sort of know they come in under the boat.
Yeah.
That's how you often tell it's a whiting.
Oh, I just
it
want
whiting?
this fish in the boat now. Oh, it's a whiting.
That's a whiting. Just swing him
Good
straight in, don't
grief.
hesitate. That's a proper whiting.
Holy hat. Look at that.
How about that?
That's a proper whiting.
That is unreal.
I told you they thicken up.
They certainly do thicken up. Look at this thing. Oh, fish on, dogs. That's a big one too.
Oh,
Good one.
that's a good one.
Look at your rod, it's like...
I know. We've come under gun, Hardy. We're under gun for the whiting of Western Port.
It
They're
looks
just
like a
killing
cooked piece
it.
of spaghetti.
It does, doesn't it?
Oh,
Good grief.
oh, good grief, right.
Were you expecting this?
Was I personally expecting this?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I'm going to go straight in.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look
you
at
go.
that.
Like a trained professional.
I know, look at that
Oh,
hub.
we'll quickly get good at this because they're
you
so
know-
delicious.
You know what we will need to do?
Yes.
Is get a fry pan.
Sure.
We need to get a fry pan. We haven't got any sort of, for life on the road,
Yeah.
you need that.
A cooker.
A cooker and
yeah.
a fry pan.
Yeah. We need to make a list. I mean, there's going to be things that we're going to need along the way.
Yeah.
We'll make a list.
What else? A cooker, a fry pan.
Do you know what you boys need? A plan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a good one.
That's the one.
They're a great fish. And I was just saying, this is really addictive because they're a great fun fish to catch
Oh, yeah.
and eat.
Exactly.
And there's just nothing bad about them.
How could you not want to catch that?
Oh, no, that's fantastic.
The whiting kept coming through in waves.
Swing him in. Swing him in. Now we're getting a
There,
feed.
look at you
There we
go.
go.
It wasn't even lunchtime on day one, and our road trip around the country was off to a flying start. We figured with a couple of feeds of delicious whiting to take with us, it was probably time to roll on. So Lee, later in our lap, you know, we will come all the way around and get to South Australia, mate. And are they going to be impressed with whiting like this, do you think? Are they going to be saying, awesome whiting, well done fellas, or are they going to be saying...
They'll be saying, well done, boys, but now you can come and play with the real one.
Yeah, they're superb though.
They are.
Absolutely
They'll
superb.
be going, they're
You know.
very cute.
That's much more than I was expecting out of Western
Indeed,
Port this morning.
same here.
Thank you, Lee.
No worries.
Now, you've got to stay in Melbourne.
Thank you.
We're going to head off on the lap. Where should our next sort of stop be?
There's some amazing places not far from here, but
Yep.
I would suggest there's a bit of bad weather coming.
Yep.
So some inshore fishing at a place called Marlow. It's the Snowy River where it joins the ocean,
Yes.
and the Marlow pub. The weather's bad.
Hello, pub.
Right,
It
well,
will
the
be
road, you potentially derailed the road trip
Yeah.
already, but anyway, yeah, no, that sounds good. Marlow Pub.
To the Marlow pub.
Yeah.
For local knowledge.
So after the break, we fish for something we've never caught before. That's if we can leave the pub. If you would like to dig a little deeper into the when, where and how, plus all the latest gear to use, look no further than the team at Wilson Fishing.
He's a good fish.
A family-owned Australian fishing company, Wilson have the online resources to help you catch more fish more often.
Oh mate, look at this thing. It's gold.
It's unbelievable.
Xeric Zeppelins.
Well done.
Subscribe for your free online magazine, Redefine the Game.
Yes, double beer! Nice.
Explore countless action-packed YouTube tutorials.
It's 80! That's a beast. That is what fishing is about, is catching things like that in places like this. Absolutely awesome.
And stay up to date via social media for news from all the brands that make Wilson Fishing great. You're watching Hook, Line and Sinker and the start of our lap around Australia. So far we've left Melbourne, fished Western Port Bay with fishing superstar Lee Rayner, and now have driven some 350 kilometres to a pub.
Now, Nick, we've been making Hook, Line and Sinker for many, many years.
17 years.
Makes me feel old, but never, not once, have we crossed paths with a species of fish called the estuary perch.
This place, Marlow, the Snowy River, which is close to here, is kind of ground zero for estuary perch, as I understand it.
It would seem so. There are shots of, 87 massive perch and 200 perch, and here's a 5-pound perch, and this is where, if you're ever going to catch a perch, if the old timers have left any in the river, this is where it's going to be.
Tomorrow, we chase the estuary perch. Now, not so much.
Now we talk about estuary perch.
Cheers. Much like our heads, the next morning dawned clear and bright. So the new day has dawned and it is a cracking day here on the Snowy River, and to lead us in our charge we have organised the best in the business in this part of the world. This is Frank Melito from East Gippsland Charters. Frank, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Mate, we are charged and full of full of expectation. We've never caught estuary perch. We've seen them in the pub there and we're pretty keyed up. Just give us a quick overview about what today might look like.
Well, we're going to chuck a few soft plastics around the edges of the reeds and the structure, looking for the perch.
Yep.
However, the perch are very elusive these days. No doubt we'll come across other species like black brim, probably a dusky flathead or two and some trevally.
All right.
But perch are the mainstay for us today. You've said you want that, so that's what we're going to try and do for you.
We've never caught them. Never ever in all our travels and travails around the country. Never.
There's a first time for everything.
Eager, we cast into the waters of the famous Snowy River. Surely there would be a bunch of hungry estuary perch ready to eat our lure.
Fish on.
Fish on.
Fish on.
Backwards a bit.
Delicate,
Not a bad
delicate.
fish.
No, not a bad fish, Hardy.
I'll
Not
have
a
me some
bad
netting
fish.
for you.
Just trying to keep him away from that electric.
Where are
There
you? Yes,
go.
electric. We've got a.
Yeah.
Frank's got a snag.
Frank's got a snag. Got to be in
Sorry,
there, Frank.
guys.
Don't you? You've got to
Get
be
out of the
in the.
Yes, exactly right. Well, we're in there. Oh, that's a beautiful brim, is it? Yeah, it's magnificent.
Nice brim. Nice
Oh, well
brim.
done, mate. Well
I'm
done.
going to take that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'd claim that as a victory.
Very enjoyable, very good, very rewarding. Reward for effort, this fishing.
Absolutely,
and I guess that's what's so good about it. If you get a cast that's in there, you think, yes.
Absolutely.
And Frank, you are exclusively lures?
Absolutely, mate. In all of our operations,
Yep.
it's all lure fishing, and that's the reason why.
Yeah, well, it's come
We're
a long
using
way.
finesse
Yeah.
equipment.
So let's talk about this. This is absolute finesse. What sort of, leader weight are we looking at here?
We're using only a 6-pound leader.
Yep.
Which is really good quality 6-pound too, so it's really fine.
Yep.
And of course, matching it with a distance casting braid. There's plenty of different options on the market.
Yep.
But yeah, finesse is the key.
Finesse
Fishing really
and
light.
slow.
Yes, very slow retrieve.
Yep.
And just enough to get the tail of whatever lure it is you're casting working, just enough to move it, letting it flutter down the rocks.
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. We can go back.
Perfect. Nice work.
What is this? Is a different species.
It is a different species.
Trevally.
No, it is a lovely
Nice.
flathead,
Nice
mate.
flathead, mate. Well
A
done.
really nice
That's
flathead.
one of our local blue spots by the look of him.
Oh, fish on. Here we go. Talk us through it, Frank. What have we got?
Yep.
Oh, it's a double.
Come on, make it a triple.
It's
no,
a
look,
double.
it's I felt the head shake. I think the master up the front's done it, but they're black brim, which are nice fish. Mine's a size fish, and I do believe you've got a slightly bigger one. So
Look at that.
aren't they beautiful fish?
Superb.
I find the release net's really handy for letting the fish go.
Yeah, okay.
You
So
can
it's just gentle on them?
Yeah, nice and gentle on them. You can keep a bit of an eye on them as well. Make sure they're up, ready and healthy. And you can see that fish is really fresh, so we've got no problems about letting it go, and they just swim out and off they go.
And it means
Beautiful.
you don't have to bend over, which is great for me, Dykes, because my this area here often gets exposed on camera, and my wife watches and goes, "Can you just push the crack away, please?"
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Not bad. I don't have to bend over.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Still to come on Hook, Line and Sinker, will our expert advice mean anything as we try everything to trick an estuary perch? And later, we are the proud new owners of some very old boats.
If you love Hook, Line and Sinker, then don't let the magic end when the show does.
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, constantly posting updates and videos about our adventures.
There we go! Holy!
Feel free to join in the conversation, post stories and pictures of your greatest catches, and keep up to date with where we've been and where we're going.
Oh, look at the size of it! Oh, look at the size of it!
So jump online today and become part of the Hook, Line and Sinker team.
Hook, Line and Sinker time, where we are exploring the lower reaches of Australia's famous Snowy River. The target species is estuary perch, but so far it's everything else but.
You're on again, Hart.
Mate, it's going well.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's worth getting up early. It's worth getting a good guide, because now we're just sort of slaying it.
Smashing it.
And these are really nice brim. But are we
Beautiful.
a chance? At
That's
an EP?
right.
Are we
Absolutely.
a real chance at an
Absolutely.
EP?
Yeah, definitely.
Because we can get carried away. We can catch 40 of those brim,
And they'll be mixed in somewhere
but
close.
it's the unicorn fish we're after, the mythical estuary perch.
Absolutely.
And mate, that's sensational.
You keep
We
upping the
whiled
ante.
away the afternoon in the Marlow pub yesterday, Frank. The estuary perch just took on a mythical state. Good fish, Frank. Well done. Wrong species.
Wrong species though, yes. And he fairly chomped it as well. Took it just like a perch too, like nice big strong hit. A bit slippery with all that scent on it.
Hey, just quickly run us down on your largest estuary perch.
Well, firstly we need to say that we're not quite sure it was a perch. We believe it was a hybrid, so it was a bass perch, but it was 66 centimetres.
Yep.
There we go.
Fish on.
That's a nice fish too, mate. Yep.
Fish on. Haven't seen him yet.
Historically, we would hear reports of 8-pound fish coming out of this system.
It's an
estuary
estuary
perch.
perch.
You've done it. Get the
It's
net.
a first.
Get the net.
It's a first.
Get the
It's a
net.
first for Hook, Line and
Oh,
Sinker.
there we go.
It's a
Look at that.
first for me, and it's an
Look at
estuary
that.
perch, and we've done it from the bridge.
Magnificent. Well
What
done,
were you
mate.
saying about history? I just wasn't really listening. I wasn't listening
That's
to
just
you.
wiped it. It just created new history.
That is your estuary perch, which you've been saying, they've been doing it hard over the past decade or two.
Yeah, definitely.
Those photos on the walls at the pub, they sort of had an effect, didn't
It's a
they?
pretty clear indicator, isn't it?
Yeah.
You catch 300 or 400 or 500 a week out of a system that are big, enormous females.
Yeah.
It's going to have an impact eventually. Well, change of climate as well, lack of rainfall, the river's silted up.
Yeah.
And then, of course, these fellas have suffered a bit because of it. But are they beautiful fish? That's why they call them the Southern Barra.
They really are a beautiful looking fish. And yeah, there is a lot of barra about them, isn't there?
Yeah, they're wonderful.
That's superb. Well done.
There we go,
Estuary
mate.
perch.
Nice work.
Tick.
You've done it. Tick.
Oh,
He's done it. This could be it.
Yes,
This could be
fish.
we
Not
haven't
a big
seen
fish,
it.
it's only a smallish fish.
It's a perch. It's a perch.
Yes,
He's done it.
it's a PB.
There are so many perch.
It's a PB. There are not so many perch
No,
in here. You've got to be
perch are hard.
extremely skillful. But that's a PB.
And there's the proof of that skill.
Wow, look at that.
What's your PB perch, dogs?
20 centimetres. That's good. This is exciting.
Aren't they beautiful?
New species, brand new species for us. So that doesn't happen every
That's
day
a real
of the week.
classic looking perch too, with the yellowy gold eye.
So you're saying that's not a hybrid?
No, that really looks classic.
That's
you
a
know, it's
pure.
got the small mouth. It's got the nice hook nose. It's a beautiful looking perch.
Hardy's perch potentially.
Probably a mongrel breed.
Yeah, mongrel perch, a mongrel
just,
bred perch.
Possibly.
This one
Definitely
more
a
a
pure
thoroughbred.
thoroughbred.
Certainly small, isn't it? Very little one.
Alrighty.
It was as if someone had flicked on a switch. The perch were on the tube. Although none were massive, they were perch, and that was good. Fish on.
Oh!
Yes.
It's a perch.
It's a
Yes,
perch.
perch.
Yeah, better fish,
Yes.
better fish.
No, that's perch of the day.
Do you think that's perch of the day?
Oh,
I do
think
believe
it's
it is.
slightly better. It's like you get 7th or something.
Yeah.
Nick just kept catching them, one after another. He was putting on a masterclass.
Yes, nice EP. You see that? And it's the do-nothing technique, Hardy, that I might patent.
You
It
are
might become something that I just sell to
You
people.
are unbelievable.
The do absolutely nothing associated with fishing technique.
So that's what you do, you just do nothing.
It's a very slow wind.
Not even that, Frank. That's too much.
Well, Frank's doing something. He's keeping
Yeah,
us
he's not
in
catching
position.
anything.
No, but he's keeping us in position.
Yeah. You
This
gotta do
Minn Kota
nothing.
dogs,
Yes.
how many hours do you reckon it's done?
Looks 250.
Frank?
Well, it's reasonably well worn. It's certainly paid for itself
Yeah.
1,000 times over.
Yeah.
But if the motor's done 1,000 hours up the back,
Yes.
that does 5 times as much work as the motor because we're forever on the electric.
So how you think maybe well over
5,000
So I'm
Yeah.
guessing
5,000
in
hours.
excess of it'd have to have by now.
And it's still as
Yeah.
good as the day you bought it. Yeah, we've
Well,
played
it's-
around with them and they're brilliant, obviously,
Yeah.
for this sort of thing. But that's a good demonstration of how they last.
Well, look, for most part, the average angler, I don't think could ever wear one out.
No.
Unless they did something horribly wrong to it without knowing. I'm sort of considering my options now after all these years with it of how long it is actually going to last and whether or not I should buy another one just to have as a spare because obviously from a business point of view, I don't want to let the customers down, but it's never faltered in the...
You might get another 5,000 hours out of it.
Might
Well-
see you out, Frank.
Well, it could well do. Could well do.
And Frank, they've got a bit of armour on them. They've got spikes and gill rakers and bits and pieces.
Definitely all around this region here.
Yep.
Yeah, really nasty. You've got to be careful with them.
Righto. And interestingly, you were saying that they are a bit of a prized table fish.
Magnificent. Yeah,
Are
very much so. Beautiful white flaky flesh.
Yeah.
That's
Lovely.
why there's none left.
Yeah,
Right.
basically.
Okay.
Yeah, very prized catch for many reasons, not just for the sport.
All the people from your generation, dogs, they made pigs of themselves, didn't they? Did they? They ate them all.
He's doing old gags now, so I must have got to it.
Oh,
Not
God.
bad. That's not bad though.
Old person
I'm not
gags,
happy. I'm not unhappy with that. Yeah, not too old to show you a thing or two, son. Leg one of our lap of Australia is complete, and so far just a tick over 350 kilometres on the clock. Now, if you want to catch whiting in Western Port Bay, the first thing to do is to drop into Lee Rayner's shop Fishing Fever to get all the good oil. The next thing to do is use plenty of burley and good fresh bait such as squid. If you are not catching them after 15 or 20 minutes, move around until you find them.
As for fishing the Snowy River or indeed any of the rivers or lakes around East Gippsland, organise yourself a day with Frank Malotto from East Gippsland Charters. Frank will take you through the finer points of using lures and light gear to catch everything from EPs to big flathead. He also owns the Servo in the main street of Lakes Entrance, which, as well as selling fuel, sells plenty of fishing gear. Drop in and say hi. Now, after the break, it's project boats on a budget as we fall in love with a couple of old classics.
Now, if you're like us and love spending time out on the water, there is a way to take that to the next level.
Nick, the Australian Maritime College has the facilities and the courses to give you the qualification you desire.
Yep, AMC is famous the world over for its awesome teaching hardware, ship simulators, testing tanks, even its own fleet. But it is the college's teaching staff that bring all this good stuff to life.
So here's your propulsion assignment. We want to be able to explore the engine room a little bit, look at things.
Doug Petruzza is a 20-year veteran of the US Navy, and now he's passing on his engineering knowledge to students in coastal maritime operations. AMC provides the all-important hands-on learning environment.
I couldn't imagine trying to learn this purely in a classroom. So being able to come to Beauty Point, being able to work on the bluefin, and doing the approaches that they're doing, seeing how the vessel responds to rudder commands and the different controllable pitch environments, very beneficial.
AMC offers a range of vocational and coastal seafaring courses, and there's no better place to upskill.
Even if you don't need it for commercial purposes, if you want to learn it correctly and do the job properly and just be safe, if it's just your boat for you and your wife and the kids, it's absolutely the right way to learn.
To find out more about what AMC has to offer, head to amc.edu.au. Welcome back. Time to throw some good money after bad now on the show, or as we like to call it, project boat time. We're on the search for a couple of boats to do up, but this time we're keeping an eye on the finances.
I've been searching without success, but this could be something.
I think what all these boats are lacking is character, a story, history. They are what they are, they're all priced as they are, but what I want is something with a bit of a story, a bit of character, and potentially that's what I've got here. This is more what we're talking about. Yes, this looks a bit more like it. Phil, is it?
Yeah, g'day Andrew.
Hi mate, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good mate.
Lovely part of the world you live in here.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
What have we got here? The Tri-Hunter 170.
Yeah, it's a fairly rare boat. They made them back in the early 70s, I believe, and yeah, there wouldn't be too many left in Australia, but the design's pretty interesting. They're a very stable boat.
Being a Tri-Hunter, that means what? We've got a tri-hull.
Exactly.
Oh, look at that, 1, 2, 3. And did it come with the 40 on it?
No, I originally had a 115 Evinrude, a very old motor, but it was very fast.
115?
115, yeah. She was a heavy old girl, but...
So it can take more power?
For sure, yeah. I tried it out. It was doing over 70 kilometres an hour, trimmed right in, so you'd probably push 80 Ks, I reckon, so it's not bad for an old boat.
That sounds all right.
Yeah.
Now, this was interesting, a boat with charisma. There was, however, one slight issue. The transom, the bit you bolt the engine to, was what they call a tad soft.
That's beyond soft. That's soft like butter soft. That's going to need some work, big work.
On the upside, the trailer was very solid. There was a 2-stroke Yamaha 40, an electric motor and a sounder, and the futuristic cathedral hull was designed by the American genius C. Raymond Hunt. I was keen to proceed. However, there was another massive problem.
Righto, she needs some work. What's your absolute bottom dollar?
Oh. Probably 9, I reckon, yeah.
You got it for 8.8 on Gumtree.
All right then, 8.5. Hook line says special.
Nah.
No.
Not with, I mean, the floor's cactus, the transom cactus. She's a big job, mate.
Mm-hmm.
No, not for that. We're doing projects on a budget.
Yeah.
And that's below my budget to start with.
All right.
I like the history, I like the story, I like the boat. But I can't come at
No, that's fair enough.
8.8, so.
I'd like to see, given a new lease on life, and yeah, so it's too good to sit away in a shack and just rot away, so.
Yeah.
The asking price was completely insane, but somehow I was still keen. The Tri-Hunter had spoken to me. I asked Philip if I could take her for a spin. I was starting to get an idea of what I wanted from my new project boat.
What I want is a boat that I can catch all of the big ticket angling species in that are in the sweet water brigade, the barramundi, the Murray cod, the big flathead out of the estuaries. I want a hardcore fishing machine.
Philip and I popped her in, the Tri-Hunter looking purposeful and aggressive. It's actually quite an interesting boat. Up on the plane, the side hulls are clear of the water and she runs pretty much like a normal boat. When turning or at rest, the boat sinks back into the water and you have all the stability of 3 hulls. It's genius.
Righto, so is it stable? That is the question, Phil, and I reckon it's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Pretty good. This is where I'm going to do most of my time. Minko to here, flick, 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 or fly fish, fly fish, fly fish. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. What if you move around? If you're moving around down there, down the back there, flick, flick, flicking, you know, as if I had a mate.
Yeah.
You know, we're flicking.
Out, you can got that.
Yeah, you know, I think it's pretty stable.
I asked Philip to jump in the camera boat so I could be alone with the Tri-Hunter. This was beginning to feel like love. It was time to get down to business. This was a boat I could work with. Philip and I nutted out a deal.
We should explain, you're going to keep the 40
Yes.
because we've negotiated a price. $5,000 I'm paying for boat and trailer.
That's right.
You keep the motor and
Yes.
the electric Minn Kota that was on it. It's sort of a blank canvas for me to go and do up.
So just to be clear, $5,000 for the classic Tri-Hunter on her excellent trailer without any of the stuff I don't need, like an engine, sounder, downrigger or electric. That's the way to get the deal done. A break next, then Nick tries his hand at negotiation. YMI offers peace of mind cover for all Yamaha customers. New for old replacement on mechanical and electrical components and motors regardless of age, and a host of other benefits not available anywhere else. Yamaha Motor Insurance is the ultimate in pleasure craft protection at competitive rates.
Ask your local Yamaha dealer about YMI today. Welcome back. Project Boat Time on hook, line and sinker, and Hart has just become the proud owner of a 40-something-year-old Haynes Hunter tri-hull. My search has taken me to the Paris of the South, Melbourne, and an appointment with Craig from Craigieburn.
I'm looking for number 4 and some old boats. There's an old boat, and here we go. Oh my God. Have a look at this thing. This is a classic. This is Australian boating history, no less. Craigus.
G'day Nick, how are you mate?
Mate, I'm well. How are you?
Oh, good considering this weather mate.
Nice
Pleased to meet you
you.
mate, pleased to meet you.
You've turned it on. Have a look at this thing. This is, well, tell us what this is.
Well, I've got here a original reverse chine V19 from Haynes.
How old are we talking?
We're talking very old.
Like
we're talking
what?
one of the originals. Probably sort of around the early sort of first 100 that they made.
Yes, 60s. We're talking a 60s boat, this?
Yeah, so we're talking pretty old, older than me. About Andrew's age.
Craig?
Yes, mate.
Is that a wooden windscreen?
That is a wooden windscreen and glass, not perspex.
A wooden windscreen? I've never seen that.
No.
This is a stern drive boat, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know how many of those there were, but there is a big hole where there was once a big...
That's a nice big kill tank for you, mate.
Yeah.
The V19 is the deep V boat which virtually all Australian monohulls can call Dad. This was an early unmolested example with some lovely period features.
Obviously this boat, we'll be doing it up. That goes, the floor, how's the floor? Do you mind if I get in?
Go for it, mate. The floor is a bit soft.
Floor is soft. Every single old Haynes Hunter, I'm not quite sure why they've got such an awesome reputation, because every one of these boats,
needs a new
transom is rotten and the floor is rotten. Mind you, what are we talking, 60? Sort of,
about 60, yeah.
It's 50 years old.
Yeah.
The boat's 50.
So.
Have a look at this though. This I like. That is a, well, if it's not period, it's close to. Push button wireless. Nice.
This boat was ticking a lot of my boxes. The only real issue I could find, apart from the rotten floor and transom, was some cracking in the 50-year-old gel coat. This, I decided, was a keeper.
What are you looking for, Craig? What do you need, money-wise?
Oh, I need 8 grand, but it doesn't mean I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think?
So if we said the trailer is worth $500, you know, what's the boat worth? And what is the boat worth? We'll just sell it for 4. Does 4.5 get it done?
Yeah.
$4,500 cash today, sold, drive it away.
Drive it away.
Lights on the trailer work?
Lights on the trailer work. Yeah. Pleasure doing business with you, Nick.
Pleasure doing business with you, mate. Watch with interest.
I will. Like to see the old girl get done.
Yeah, I'll sell it back to you. Look at that. They don't make them like they used to.
No, they don't. They don't at all.
You bump your head on this one, they hose it off and sell it to somebody else.
Exactly.
With the deal done and Craig taking his 4.5k, we organised a towing permit and hooked her up to the MUX. Definitely a project, but as they say in the classics, she had good bones.
And away we go. So, it'd be fair to say there is a little bit to be done to my boat. It is in need of the works, but that's okay. I was talking to my fiberglass man on the phone and he was saying he would rather have the original boat with all the gel coat and the whatever else in its original state rather than one that had been painted and bulked up over the years. At least this way he knows exactly what he's looking at.
And it's very important to know exactly what we're looking at from a financial point of view. This is Boats on a Budget, and time to check in to the Yamaha Motor Finance Fiscal Feasibility Framework.
And let's have a look at how Nick is faring. He paid $4.5 grand for the V19, which needs a full structural rebuild, new trailer probably, not to mention big engine, electronics and all ancillary equipment. This is what you'd call a budget black hole.
Thanks, Drew. Your situation, on the other hand, is much worse. You have paid $500 more for a boat that exactly no one wants. Haynes couldn't sell them new and demand hasn't exactly ramped up. The Tri-Hunter is shaping up as the new global financial crisis. Stay tuned. Next time on Hook, Line and Sinker, our lap of Australia rolls on, the awesome southeast corner of the country from Lakes Entrance to Eden. Plus, we'll introduce you to a boat everyone can agree on.